Hi everyone, how's it going? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome to Real Board for the 22nd of March 2021. We are just a couple days post the Snyder Cut. There's a lot that's been going on with that. I put out a video a little bit ago talking about how Warner Brothers, more or less, has finally announced that they have abandoned the Snyderverse. But this episode will talk a little bit about that. But of course, other things going on with Hollywood as well. As we can see here from the thumbnail, Welcome to Raccoon City. That's a new thing, and we're going to get to that. We are totally going to get to that here. But I thought we would just blaze through a bit of the news before getting to a couple questions you guys asked me yesterday. And of course, one of the things I want to do is definitely get to your guys' questions. So send them to me. You can find all my social media stuff right there above in the top left-hand corner. So let's first talk here about how Keanu Reeves is going to star in and produce the Berserker, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not going to try. Live action film and anime series for Netflix, which goes really into the concept of what Netflix has been doing lately. And that whole idea is to promote something in live action and then do anime so they serve two fan groups. And animation is cheaper than live action in some cases, especially with a lot of the craziness that goes in to them. So let's see more here of what's going on. Keanu Reeves is set to star and produce in both the live action and anime spinoff based off his Boom Studios comic book limited series Berserker for Netflix. This, of course, is coming in from a press release where Netflix announced the creation of the Berserker cinematic universe, or as Collider is calling it right now, Berserker. And they wonder why their website's dying. I'm just going to say it. Dumb jokes like that don't help. But what they're doing first is a live feature film adaptation, which Reeves is going to both star in and produce. And then he will voice the character in the anime spinoff that will also stream on Netflix. And that's actually pretty cool. I like that they are giving it to him, kind of like Zack Snyder with Army of the Dead. They're doing the feature film version of it, and then they're going to continue it with animation spinoffs, which is actually is pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, not much is known about the project, saying here that it's exciting that Netflix is going all in on the Reeves verse. Again, look, come on. Not everything is going to work out there, obviously. Somebody needs to come up with a definitive name for it, or something I agree with. And more anime is always good news. I agree. So this whole, here's what it is. If you don't know, Berserker is actually they're described like this. The man only known as B is half mortal, half god, cursed and compelled to violence, even at the sacrifice of his sanity. But after wandering the world for centuries, B may have finally found refuge working for the U.S. government to fight the battles too violent and too dangerous for anyone else. In exchange, B will be granted the one thing he desires, the truth about his endless blood-soaked existence and how to end it. I mean, okay, that sounds kind of cool, right? Like, I'll definitely check this one out. Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. And you know what? Hey, daddy loves him some Keanu Reeves. Well, let me just ask this. Why is it that the United States government would actually have the information on why he's half God, why he's immortal, and why he's been around for centuries? I don't know. I think the concept comes across as a little bit interesting, but we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, count me in for wanting to see it. What do you guys think? Let me know. And some DC movie news coming out today. Not an announcement of Snyder Cut 2. But no, what we've got here is DC Films taps promising young woman director Emerald Fennell to write the ZATANNA superhero movie. And this, of course, is coming in through Bad Robot Productions and J.J. Abrams, which does make a lot of sense that they are going to try to capitalize on her success right now. Promising Young Woman has gotten a lot of attention this year, with Emerald's writing ability being right there in the middle of it. So let's see what the article here says. Emerald Fennell, the Oscar-nominated director of Promising Young Woman, is taking on a different kind of vigilante. She's been tapped to write ZATANNA. The movie will be from Warner Brothers DC Films and is set to be released theatrically. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot is producing through his overall deal with Warner Media. Now, we know that Warner's wants to go a completely different direction than the Snyderverse. You know what? I'm hoping that JJ does something kind of in line with that world. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, there has been no casting yet. And this is just going to be something that's probably going to be coming down the road sometime soon. Fennell is also the showrunner on season 2 of Killing Eve, which is a good show. And apparently she's also an actress, having worked on The Crown, The Danish Girl, and Anna Karenina. So she's been around, so she understands the system. I'm wondering how this is going to work out with Constantine, if that rumor about him being recast, if that's going to be real. We're going to have to wait and see on this one. But, hey, this could be something fascinating for right now. It doesn't have anything to do with Justice League. Of course, it's going to tie into Justice League Dark, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Jumping over here, to some more DC news. And this is shocking. It came out yesterday, right? It came out yesterday, right before the release of the new issue or the new episode of Batwoman, where they are now going to be casting Wallis Day as a new altered Kate Kane in a big review. Maybe she was on the episode last night. I don't know. I don't watch it. But this is an interesting development here because Ruby Rose quit the project because she deemed it to be too intense for her, right? It really was. It was, the demand was too high. She wasn't expecting it to be like working on a movie where it's kind of like, 30 to 60 days and you're done. This is like literally months out of the year. It's a reoccurring job. My God. So they brought in a new woman and now they're bringing back Kate Kane. It just feels like Batwoman is, not able to get its footing. So, they asked the question here, whatever happened to Kate Kane? They didn't kill her off in the show, but, Javicia Leslie donned the cape and cowl. And, so now they're going to be given that mystery. All right. So it says here, don't get it twisted. Leslie will continue to be Batwoman. In fact, the reintroduction of Kate Kane further solidifies Leslie's place as the one and only Batwoman. And we must reiterate that she is the first Black actress to step into the role of the iconic superhero. Well, you don't have to reiterate that. Who wrote this article here? Dino Ray Ramos. You don't have to. We know. Like, it's not unknown. It's known at this point. It's not even a thing. And so the second half of the season is going to be talking about where Kate has been and what she's been up to. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with this one. The big factor here is that the ratings for Batwoman are not good. They're just not good. I looked it up last night. It's rocking in like 0.63 in the ratings, which is less, that's like 630,000 people that are watching. That's not even very good for the CW. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a last ditch effort to try to bring back the fans that they had in season 1 that left by trying to bring back in the character of Kate Kane. When this is entirely Ruby Rose's fault. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But honestly, I don't see the show surviving past this season. That is, unless HBO Max steps in for a co-production, which has already been done on Stargirl. I think like another project that they're working on as a way to bring it over to HBO Max for trying to find some success over there. I don't know. I personally think it's kind of stupid, but that's just my take on it. Now let's continue to talk about the DC world because that's all that's going on right now, really. What we got here is Michael Keaton is now casting doubt on his Batman return. I mean, look, yeah, every time an actor says something, never believe it. Right off the bat, just never believe it because it's oftentimes not real. They can't say much here. But of course, the MovieWeb article is going to try to frame it like that so people know. But it says here that while Michael Keaton appearing as the Batman in the Flash movie is a strong possibility, the actor says his return will likely be up to COVID. Well, with the vaccines rolling out now and like massively rolling out and a lot of states are rolling back their restrictions, I don't think it's going to be hard for Michael Keaton to fly privately from California to London where they're filming the movie, vaccine having already been taken. That's all I'm saying here. Now, providing an update with Deadline, Keaton says here, I am needing a minute to think about it because I'm so fortunate and blessed I got so much going on now. I'm really into work right now. I don't know why, but I am. So yeah, to tell you the truth, somewhere on my iPad is an iteration of the whole Flash thing that I haven't had time yet. I called them and said, I have to be honest with you. I can't look at anything right now. I'm so deep in this thing that I'm doing. I'm also prepping a thing I'm producing and getting ready to go down the road in the fall that I'll be in. And I feel responsible to that. So yeah, there's that. I'm not trying to be cute or coy. If I talked about it, I'd just be BSing you. I don't really know. I have to look at the last draft. And then he goes on to talk about this here by saying, to be honest with you, what worries me more than anything about this stuff? It's COVID. I'm more concerned. I keep my eye more on the COVID situation in the UK than anything. That will determine everything. And so that's why I'm living outside the city here on 17 acres, staying away from everybody because the COVID thing has got me really concerned. So that's my first thing about all projects. I look at it and go, Is this thing going to kill me? Literally. And if it doesn't, then we talk. And I got it. You know what? I mean, like, look, you got to give it up to Michael Keaton for at least, saying like he's not involved yet. Because there's been absolutely like, no, they've been talking about this now for a year. Michael Keaton being involved. There's been contracts that have been signed, yada, 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 yada. But he's admitting that he's living outside the grid on 17-acre ranch or farm or whatever. COVID in the UK, which is a problem. There's a new variant that is more lethal than previous variants, and they're trying to get their hands on it, or their handle on it, I should say. So yeah, you figure in this particular situation, Keaton's going to be trying to do whatever he can in order to keep himself safe. The dude's in his 70s, or almost in his 70s. And this is, it's a big deal. I'm sure they'll find a way to work it out. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the movie, but this might just be negotiations through the media. This might just be negotiations. He's not happy with how things are. We're going to have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I'm down for Keaton to pop back up as Batman. Even though I kind of like argue against the multiverse, I'd still watch it. Okay. Speaking of the multiverse and everything else, this article came out yesterday in Variety, which was really interesting about Zack Snyder's Justice League, saying here, will Snyder be invited to make a Justice League sequel? The answer is a test of whether Hollywood still works, which is true. Now, we don't have the numbers yet, and obviously news came out today from Warner Brothers chairman and Sarnoff that said that we would not be getting the Ayer cut and the cul-de-sac is real. And then the announcement of Emerald Fennell writing ZATANNA. I mean, come on, like you look at it here and you're seeing like this is a hit job. This is a Hatcher job, everything else. But you know what? You've also got this op-ed piece here that is in Variety that is heavily pushing for more movies in the Snyder Cut, Snyderverse. And that's a lot of fans really want. And so you've seen this now, and this is why this is important. You've seen this come in from a number of different people that are outside of like the Snyder fandom, where they have come out and they said over the weekend that the movie was really good. They've watched it multiple times. They really like it. So it's something there to consider in regards to everything. It's something there to consider in regards to how you want to, how you want to see things through. Fans are clearly digging it. I don't know what is up Warner's ass, but if you got Variety coming out and saying, hey, this is a good thing, you should do more of this. By all means, do effing more of that, you bastards. That's all that one. But finally, before we get into the Q&A here, I just wanted to talk about this here. What we have here is Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. It's only in theaters September 3rd. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this quite a bit. I cannot wait to see what they do with it. I like the Resident Evil movies. Not so much the final entries into the franchise. I liked 1 through 4 quite a bit. 5 was just terrible. It was terrible. 6 was better than 5, but still not very good. And, and there's been the animated movies that I've enjoyed as well. But I agree with David Clinton here that says, I truly hope this reboot does the original games justice, even when the books were so well written. Yeah, exactly. People like them. Now, this is what came out today. They announced the release date and they gave this little image here. But there was a little bit of information that dropped yesterday over on Sci-Fi Wire, saying here that the Resident Evil movie title revealed, the director drops new details on Raccoon City origin story. So it says this is coming in from, who is the guy? Johannes Roberts is the director, and he says that he spoke with IGN over a virtual South by Southwest panel and revealed some new details. He says here, obviously, there is the Resident Evil film franchise, and this movie doesn't have anything to do with that. It's a whole separate origin story based in the roots of the video game series and the world of horror, which, to be fair, is what a lot of people want. Those movies, the Mila Jovovich films, definitely have a place. They definitely have a fan base to them. And they've made a lot of money, and also, like, she's never gotten the accreditation for being a badass film heroine, right? A badass action star, female action star. She never gets the credit for it for some reason. They always overlook her because the movies are niche. But you know what? They've made a lot of money for Sony. Now, it says here that he cites the Carpenter's The Fog and Capcom's own 2019 HD remake of Resident Evil 2 as inspirations for the horror vibe, right? Which is pretty cool. And then he gave Anderson's original RE films a big shout out. Robert said he's been given carte blanche to recreate Raccoon City's moody nighttime horror in his own unique way. Now, he does say up here, and I did kind of overlook this, It's an ensemble piece, and Raccoon City plays a big part and is in the character and is a character in the movie. It's about a group of people all coming from different angles, some coming into town, some already having grown up in this town, and meeting over one fateful night. So this is obviously going to be a movie that's going to combine parts of Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 to give us that story. And I mean, I'm cool with that. I think like this, I don't know if I necessarily like the idea of the stories being condensed into one, you know, but at the same time, I understand it. And obviously it's better than the previous Resident Evil franchise did. Now, Roberts here goes on to say that the big thing for me on this movie is tone. The thing that I loved about the games was they were scary as hell, and that is very much the atmosphere. It's raining constantly, it's dark, it's creepy, and then mixed with the sort of more fun side, especially with the first game, of what's around the corner, that style of storytelling, which makes me really wonder if it's going to be very close quarters in regards to like the filming, you know, like very POV, a lot of like going around, you know, are we going to have load screens of trying to open the doors? That should be pretty interesting. What we got here is we have confirmed Chris Redfield, played by Robbie Amell. Claire Redfield is going to be played by Kea Scolodario, who I like quite a bit, actually. Jill Valentine by Hannah John Kamen, who I also really like. And Leon Kennedy, who I'm not too familiar with, Avon Jogia, not too sure. And I think Wesker's in this one as well. I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty awesome to see what happens with the new Resident Evil movie. I think playing into the game's horror roots, which is what like they did with Resident Evil 7 and this upcoming new one, The Village. I think a lot of people are going to dive into it. But what I really want, and I don't know how you guys feel about this one, but I really want, is a Resident Evil 4 HD remaster and a straight up adaptation of Resident Evil 4. Give me that Leon Kennedy adventure, because goddamn it, I really, really, really like that one. So that's all the news stories for this episode of Rio Board. But what we got is a couple questions that you guys asked yesterday. And so I want to address those today. And of course, I want to always kind of round out the episode talking to you guys and answering your questions, and we'll put them up there. So first up, we got someone coming in just with a comment saying, restore the Snyderverse. Now, I know I touched upon this earlier in like my previous video, and I've kind of half mentioned it during this episode. But the reason why this is important to me is like, you know, we've joined these characters on this journey now for literally coming up on 8 years. There is a massive dedicated fan base to these characters, to these actors, to Zack Snyder himself, and the DCEU as a whole. And all DCEU fans really want is something that is, I don't even want to say like it's not Marvel, but it's comparable to Marvel in regards to like putting faith and trust into the concept and putting faith and trust into your talent and letting them, you know, build. But you need someone to shepherd that. You always need a team leader. And the problem, though, is that they don't have a team leader. And today with the Ann Sarnoff interview, it definitely felt like a hit piece. So like F that thing. But I very much believe with that. And then also this one here asking, because this is an interesting question. Do you think that Nolan is done at Warner Brothers due to the HBO Max debacle? And if he is, what studio do you think he's going to set up shop at next? Well, I really feel that he's not done with Warner Brothers just yet. I think he's out there, you know, he's kind of making a stink. He's playing the game politically, but none of the other studios outside of Disney would even give him the budget that he would be looking for. And even Disney wouldn't give him the freedom he'd be looking for, because Disney, everything is very much in line with the corporate branding. Nolan doesn't really play inside that world very well, and he would need freedom. The only other place where he'd be able to get that, in the context of which he would demand it, would probably be Netflix, because they would just throw whatever money they wanted at him. But he doesn't want his movies debuting in, you know, on streaming. He doesn't make movies for streaming. He wants movies to be seen in the big theater. And that's, you know, something that a lot of people are going to have to deal with, that he wants that. So I don't think he'll go to Netflix. I think if he's desperate, he'll go to Netflix, but I think he's waiting for Warner's to come back around. And of course, he's definitely waiting for the pandemic to end, because his movie was, all things considered, it was a canary in the coal mine. It shouldn't have been, but it was. And it came out at the wrong time. And they were, you know, they were just kind of running their stupid hands back and forth over it and screwed the whole thing up, I think. So he's pissed off, and he has every right to be pissed off. But at the same time, it is what it is. And we'll hopefully be able to get something out of him soon. That will be a definitive answer. But I think he's going to stick with Warner Brothers, because it's just literally the best deal for him. But all right, gang, that actually wraps up today's episode of Real Board. I just wanted to run through the news. I like doing this kind of thing. It's just easy to kind of blaze through and answer your questions. As of right now, I am still not able to live stream on this channel. The update on that is that Warner Brothers has apparently, it's been my dispute for the copyright claims have been forwarded to Warner Brothers, in which case they now have a couple days really to decide if they want to sue me or not. Now, I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to sue me because it doesn't make any sense to do so. It'd be financially disruptive for them to do it, especially over like they have nothing. So I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that one. Hopefully I'll be able to live stream soon enough. But in the meantime, I'll answer questions you guys have in the comment section. And, if you have some movies you want me to review or something, we can do that. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching and peace out.